So the government's official line is that they're not concerned. It has been for quite a long time that the protests are diminishing, and that they're very confident that people are signing up in droves for Irish water and that people are going to pay the water charges. But actions speak a lot louder than words, and their actions demonstrate that they actually are extremely nervous of the potential for a massive campaign of non-payment and massive participation in non-payment. They've delayed the registration deadline until the end of this year. That's now the fourth deadline. The Eurostat test has been delayed as well. And now you have the empty threats of deduction from source. So the reality is that they are concerned about the potential for non-payment. It's the reason that Minister Kelly is acting like a bull in a china shop, threatening people with everything. But it's going to backfire because people will see through these threats, exactly as Ruth was saying. This is not revenue, they can't deduct it from people's wages or benefits that have to go through a court process. And how many people can they take to court, even if you get to that stage? And so that's simply not going to be viable for them. And the reality is that it is going to be the government, and the Labour Party in particular, that is in the dock, rather than working class people who refuse to pay. So we're offering the government one last lifeline, tonight and tomorrow night, with our private members' motion, abolish, calling for the abolition of the water charges. It's the one last chance that the government has to actually listen to what people are saying rather than what they want to hear what people are saying. If they choose to ignore it, as we obviously think is likely, well then we think non-payment will crush them, and they'll be crushed in the context of a general election. That's why the other features of the private members' motion is a call for, firstly, a replacement of the water charges with progressive central taxation, giving examples of financial transaction tax, corporation tax, wealth tax, increased tax on high earners, and also a call for non-payment. Because you have to picture a situation whereby you have a general election in, say, a year's time, 40% of people haven't paid. It's 4 in 10 doors that politicians call on, where people are not just against the water charges, but have gone so far as to refuse to pay the water charges. This will be the defining issue in any election campaign if the non-payment levels are kept up, which we think they will be. And therefore, any future government can be forced to scrap it. It's also why, which I think Nick will expand upon, we're launching the call for community campaigns, non-payment campaigns across the country to discuss standing in the general election on this, the biggest of issues, as well as a more general anti-austerity stance.